This is Rob Tubbett for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted, as always, to be joined by WBO Global Welterweight Champion, the Black Panther, Luther Clay. We're here in London at the David Avanesyan-Kelly press conference. How are you, Luther?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Ready to go.
Ready to go. You've got yourself a fight, Chris Kongo. Brilliant fight. Talk to me about how that came to pass and how it got made and what's going to happen.
It came by, I believe Eddie Hearn called Al, offered the fight because he said they were going to get Chris on the card and they were looking for someone to make it an interesting fight. Then it got offered to me. Al called me, I accepted, asked how much, when. I was happy with everything and it got done there and then.
Seems to me like you two guys are in a little bit, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, the Who Needs Him club. And you've ended up fighting each other. Can you see that?
Yeah, of course. Chris has been knocking around, like everyone's saying, for a long time. I've known about Chris because I pay attention to the welterweight division. And me, myself, I've been, taking opportunities, fighting, trying to stay busy, trying for something to come through to get me to that next stage, big exposure. And it just so happens that that we had to fight each other, So, yeah, it is what it was. Opportunity knocks, you take it.
Have you ever? I know you guys. You've sparred, and I know not you and Chris haven't, but I know that you've sparred similar guys. Chris has boxed Josh Kelly numerous times as an amateur. I know you've done plenty of sparring with Josh. What do you know about him? You said you've kept kind of your ear close to the ground, so to speak, because he's a welterweight. He's in the same division as you. What do you know about him, and what can you tell people about Chris Kongo, the fighter?
I don't personally know anything about him as from sparring or anything. I don't know. I mean, I know he's fought Kelly, but I don't know anything about him apart from the fights I've seen on YouTube, and any foot that's out there is something I've seen. Obviously, I know he's long, I know he's got good feet, he's got good punch variation, he's very skilled. So I'm in for a hard night, but I know what to do in order to disrupt everything he does and get the win. What
does a win give you in this fight? That's a genuine question from me there, because Chris, as I said, as you are, you're both. You're on the way up. You're both very, very talented young fighters. Beating Chris Kongo, he doesn't have a belt, he doesn't have a ranking, but what does it give you?
Well, it's got me on this platform because we have to be 100% honest. I wouldn't be on this bill without Chris. Chris was going to be on this bill, I'm sure, anyway, because he's signed with Dylan White, and they're obviously friendly with Matchroom and everything. So I needed him. I've got the belt, I've got the high ranking, but I still needed a dance partner. And I'm here because of the fight, and that's why I took it with no questions asked. I was like, yeah, let's go, because I need the opportunity. I need to break through. No risk, no reward. And we're prize fighters. This is how we make our living. So you can't leave money on the table. When money's there, you got to grab it.
Chris has been inactive for the last 11 months. He's not been very active throughout his career as a professional, whereas in the last year or so, thereabouts, you've gone over to Italy, you picked up a win over in Italy, you've also boxed on the Next Gen show. Do you think experience, or obviously activity is in your favour going into this fight, do you think your experience is one of the key factors in this?
I think the experience probably evens out, where he had a quite long amateur. He was on the GB team where I didn't. So I've been more active professional, but I know he stayed in the gym, so I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. Everyone's early fights are kind of learning fights. You're not so much in the deep end. But my last 3, maybe 4, I've had good fights, so maybe on that end. But I'm not paying too much attention to the inactivity of his. I'm just preparing for the fight.
Since the last time I spoke to you, I can't remember when it was, probably back end of last year at some stage, you've got a new trainer. So you're now training with Adam Martin. Tell me a little bit about that. Why the change? How's the change working for you? And yeah.
Thing is, with me and my training situation, even my boxing situation, I've always just been making do. Okay, I can't have this, or I can't, so I'll make do with this. And that's what it was, the training. I started off in Southampton when I was at university there. The trainer that I was with, Gennady, left to go to Russia. I trained in Bracknell with my old amateur coach when I was younger. Something happened between us two, so he left. Then I went back to Gennady because he was back in Southampton. Whatever happened, that didn't work out. The distance was too much. Maybe the training had gone a bit stale. So before the Freddie Kiewit fight, I was, sparring at Stallard's gym with Bout. there, and Adam Martin watching, and Adam liked my style. He kept curious about me. So, and then after the Kiewit fight, he had been in contact with Al, and that's how the link-up happened. Happened organically. Like I said, always just been making do with what's there, trying to make something happen, and now this has happened. And I believe it's a more stable situation. It's a pro gym. It's a nice, just a nice area.
And what does that do for you? I mean, obviously you're not travelling as much. What benefits does that give you with regards to recovery and preparing for sessions, etc.?
I mean, it just means I don't have to spend 3 hours on the, driving to training. It's very exhausting, like mentally. Like more times you don't even want to be at the gym. Then you've got to drive an hour and a half to get to the gym, then an hour and a half to get home, and you do that 4 or 5 times a week. You're gonna be exhausted. So I find every training camp for the last year that I was getting through, I was just like, let me get through this fight, then I can relax. And that's not really how you should be, because you need to train, have a fight, take some time off, but you need to be looking forward to going back to the gym, not thinking, man, you know what I mean? Yeah, so mentally it's more draining. Not so much physically, but mentally I feel more, happy with my situation.
Okay, well, before we wrap up, let's talk about a few things, namely Kelly Avanesyan, which is going to be main event on March 28th. Even though between me and you, I'm looking forward to your fight more. Oh no, I said that on camera. Oh well. Talk to me about Josh Kelly versus David Avanesyan.
Very good fight, exciting fight. I lean towards Kelly. I think Kelly has more attributes like speed, boxing IQ, footwork. He's defensively responsible at times. I think he can use that to diffuse whatever David has. However, David is fit, he's conditioned, he's a strong, explosive puncher. He's boxed at a higher level. He's boxed at a high level. Names like Lamont Peterson, Shane Mosley, Cal Velasquez. So, David's obviously more experienced and he's bringing power. It's just I think if Kelly can keep his energy levels up high and stay responsible defensively the entire time, then I think Kelly will edge it out by decision.
And elsewhere on the board, we've got Conor Benn returning, which is a name that you've been linked with over a period of time. Is that a fight that you can realistically expect? I mean, all being well and you come through against Chris Kongo in the future?
I mean, realistically, I have to beat Chris, because if I don't beat Chris, I will never get the Benn fight. They've made it impossible for me to even get near him anyway, so, I have to beat Chris. There's nothing past Chris. There's literally nothing past Chris as far as I'm concerned, so beat him and then I could talk about the fairy tale of the Conor Benn fight whenever.
Okay, well, last question before I let you go. Have you been watching those videos of George Benton that I've sent you?
I have been watching George Benton. I only watched the highlight because I've got a lot of things going on right now in terms of this fight and thinking about a couple of stuff. But I've been watching George Benton, like his style. But I don't think I'll be implementing the shoulder roll this fight. I don't think it'll be the appropriate style, but I've definitely been watching him.
Yeah, probably something that you want to maybe practice at a little bit more.
Yeah, at a later date.
Okay, well, Luther Clay, the Black Panther, as always, real pleasure catching up with you. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Appreciate it, man.
Good stuff. Very good. You're tired, mate.